I'm going to speak to you this evening about a couple of things that have been impressed upon me while I was reading one of the Cryon books. So it really doesn't have anything to do with this text in particular, but I will reference it anyway because, any one of the Cryon books would be a worthy book to read. This one is called Partnering with God. It is Cryon book 6. Just one second. So it has been impressed upon me to share a little bit of something that's going on in my life right now and how it might relate to you and things of the world in the world. So my 9-year-old son and I are preparing our house to be shown, listed for sale. And it has just been the two of us working on this. And there have been occasions, and I will reference one in particular, where I have felt overwhelmed or disheartened, discouraged, because my 9-year-old son does not have the strength of an adult, though he is pretty strong for a 9-year-old child. He doesn't have the strength or the height of an adult, and it's hard for us to move a lot of furniture. Okay, so there have been occasions when I have wanted to make some small improvements here and there. Carpeting in one of the bedrooms, the kids had spilled soda on it or something, and it just wasn't worth trying to shampoo it. So I decided to pull up the carpeting. And so we're pulling up the carpeting, and as we're doing that, we're having to move furniture around to be able to get this carpeting up off the floor. I have a queen size bed in one of the bedrooms, and I know the mattress and box springs, I know the mattress is going to be quite heavy and rather difficult to move. The box springs might not be as bad, but the mattress will be quite heavy. And then I have to, take the whole bed frame apart and bring it down. So these things are discouraging to me because I have an idea in my mind of how difficult it's going to be, okay? I have an idea in my mind that is of the world that says, you are a 5'2" woman who is not capable of lifting and moving these things on your own. So I do have this idea in my mind, right? But then all of a sudden I'm reading the Cryon text, and this really has nothing to do with what I'm reading, but I'm impressed from Spirit that says, what if you didn't have the thought that this was going to be difficult? What if you didn't have the idea that it would be too much for you to do? What if you only had the knowing that this needs to be done? How would you approach it differently? So I see so many things in life that if we are able to use this same process, we take a lot of the mm, sting out of every situation. So, what we view as challenges then are just, it must be done. And so I'm going to do that, right? Or it must be done. And so how? How can I do that? Today, some of the things that we did today and some of the things that we've done recently in the last, few days seemed like nearly impossible tasks. But we were able to accomplish these things within an hour and a half, and we had really done a lot of cleanup, of moving stuff, of whatever. And so, as I bring every bit of this experience into my awareness in a new way, I see all of the beliefs and ideas of the world that slow me down and tend to sabotage me for a time until I'm no longer willing to give those ideas, those thoughts of the world, that much power. When I accept that the power of God is in me, the power of God is in me, and I have a task before me, and I have everything I need to ensure that that task gets completed, it looks different. It looks very different. And now, moving this queen size bed down a flight of steps, and around some doorways and such on my own suddenly doesn't seem that imposing, because as I look at it that way, I can see that I can take the frame apart and I can bring them down piece by piece, and that this is something I can accomplish in as little as 15 minutes or a half an hour, depending on how much trouble I have getting the frame apart. But that it is possible and maybe even not that difficult for me to accomplish, and that my son will be able to help enough for this to get done. So what I see in that is how crippling these thoughts of the world can be, how limiting these thoughts of the world can be, and how powerful and how effective we are without them. So I just wanted to share this for tonight. That's really all I have for this evening, but sending lots of love. In peace and love, may you be blessed.